Welcome back to the Yoga Chat. I'm your host, Montana.
I'm your host, May. Good morning.
Good morning. We never record in the mornings, and it's actually 9 a.m. right on the dot, which was our plan. So look at us being on time. Never
Morning
happens.
girls. On time morning girls.
I love it. Okay, so today is the fifth episode of our summer vacay, and we've got um two more of these, or this one and then one more, and then we'll be officially on season two. So I'm excited. And we just celebrated our 1 year anniversary, which is wild.
So we went on a romantic dinner together.
We did. Candlelit.
Montana brought me flowers. Yep.
May wrote me a poem.
Yep. We kept talking to the waitress in Sanskrit. It was or
Yep.
Sanskrit, I should say.
Yeah,
Sanskrit.
Sanskrit. Anyways, since it's the morning, I thought it would be fun to start with some of my morning rituals. And let's be real, I don't do this every morning, but on the mornings that I think about it, I do it. So
Let's
here's the
go.
pivot year. Denim, I love you. I need you to get on the bed. Go on up. Okay.
Good boy.
So he is a good boy. Let's see, where am I? Oh, I can't remember if I'm on page 90 or 91 or day 90 or 91. So, um, see, that's how you know that I don't do this every morning. We're gonna say,
I choose 91.
okay, that's what I feel like too. All right. What if you knew that you were never meant to get it right the first time, but to build it through trial and error? How much more grace would you give yourself? How much more human might you be? How much more could you gain from your experiences if your expectation wasn't that you were supposed to be initially and unquestionably perfect, but that the sculpting of your soul would emerge through the consistency by which you showed up and kept trying, kept going, kept forgiving yourself through the fire of your own fear.
Hmm.
Fun. So true. And then we've got our cards. The one on the bottom's gratitude. So how cute. All right, I'm going to shuffle them first, and then I'm going to channel May's energy, and she's going to shuffle. All
Shuffling
right,
them
now
with my mind.
May shuffling them.
Shuffle,
Yeah,
shuffle, 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 shuffle. Little, 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 little.
little, 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 little.
Little,
The
little,
way
little.
I just had two very different memories. When you said shuffle, 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 I was like, I am 6 years old in a tap class again. And you said little, 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 little. That was Suzanne being really funny during her class, the Lounge. Okay, here we go. So we have pulled trust, knowledge, and earth. I keep pulling earth. Like every day, I keep
Mm.
pulling earth, which is basically like take care of your body. I went to yin yesterday, and that
Oh,
was,
good.
God, it was so good. I need more and
Yin
more
is
and
so
more of it.
hard. I have never
This one
taken
wasn't,
yin.
it was hard, but like, I don't know. I guess for me, like in practices like that, depend, right, the pose depend, like if there's
Hmm.
a pose that is really like challenging to do to sit there forever, totally that's going to be hard. But like mentally, if I'm really tired, like I can just drop in. But if I'm
Yeah,
like, not tired and have a million things, if I'm awake essentially, then it's like, ugh. Yesterday I was exhausted. So I just was like, and there
just
were
zonk through
poses that
everything.
just like it was intense for sure. We did this thing called broken wing, which like sometimes broken wing is also when you're on your belly and then you like roll over. We
Yeah.
did that. And then we also did this thing where on our back and we like slid our arm underneath our low back and then like laid there forever. Yeah. And then
Ooh.
when we pulled it out, Phoebe said, the teacher was like, notice if you feel like tingling or heat or whatever. When I pulled it out on both sides, my arms went like they were like shung, now we're on fire. So yeah, it was good. All right, trust says step into the unknown. All may not be revealed at this time. Trust in unseen forces. Meditate on this to let go of all attachments or possibilities. Free yourself from your dharma and increase your trust in the guides and the universe.
Mm.
Love it. Knowledge. Remain teachable. There is new wisdom available to you at this time. This card can signify getting more information before proceeding. It can also signify the presence of an important teacher, or perhaps you are the teacher and it is time to share your knowledge and gifts with the world around you. Drawing this card can also indicate a message from your Akashic records. Seek out more information about the records, or even perhaps learn how to access your own records for more clarity regarding your query. Is that how you say that?
Mm.
Meditate on this to learn new things or to draw the right teachers into your life, which is crazy because May and I just did feedback for her concept class, and you're an amazing teacher. Um,
Thank
and
you.
then last but not
So are
least,
you.
thanks. Earth. Like I said, I can't stop pulling this card. The tangible world and all that is physical in nature. What you can see, feel, and touch invites you to participate in actually enjoying it. Inviting earth energy into your current situation will bring more stability at this time. Be kind to this temple of the physical body that is the home for your soul. It requires adequate nutrition and rest. Meditate on this symbol when you want more of a connection to the physical plane and validation of all that is here in the three-dimensional worlds with you. Honor it, see it, feel it, experience it with love and respect. So,
You know what that card makes me think of? I picture
tangible.
drinking a cup of warm liquid and walking through crunchy leaves in the forest.
For those of you that aren't in Pittsburgh this morning, at least in the West End, it is spooky season
It's
officially.
fall. It is. I love it.
We are in a cloud. I woke up this morning and I looked out the window and it looked like I was in an airplane, like getting through the clouds. I was like, yes,
Hmm.
let's go.
It's foggy and cool, and the leaves are on the floor. It's
Yeah,
great.
it is. All
And
right.
don't get me
So,
wrong, I love summer and I don't wish summer away, but I also love fall. I mean, like, I
I
really
mean, you're
love
a
everything but
Gemini,
winter.
so you like
Yeah,
the
that's true.
change.
I do like the change a lot.
And I'm a Sag, so
Um,
I like the change for different
it was cool.
reasons and different ways. But
Speaking of change, and not to derail us, but like for the first time in a while since the studio opened, I think I've probably what I would consider having the biggest schedule change for
mhm,
teaching, and I really like it. It feels
yeah,
good.
me
And like so
too.
there's part of me that like hangs on so tightly to things and I get so attached to like, you know, people or class times or like I don't know, but then also change is exciting. I really liked it yesterday teaching my
Good,
new time slots. Okay.
cool. I love that. Same. I love
Yeah.
change. I thrive in change. I search and create change almost too far. And like the pendulum can kind of maybe come into the middle a little bit. But
Yeah.
that's why I like my job because it's never boring. And even when I'm annoyed, I'm like, you know what? At least I'm not bored.
You're not bored. You're not bored. You could be sitting at a
Um,
desk for 8 hours a day with the same
okay.
person next to you saying the same shit over and
Ugh.
over again. I've been there, dude. Been
And
there.
that, so John Summit, who for those of you that don't know, is my daddy. Um, sorry,
In the
everyone that
creepy
had to hear
way
that.
or in the
Oh no,
wholesome
in a
way?
very sexual way, in the most sexual way. Um, I had a dream about him. My heart's starting to flutter and I have butterflies in my stomach right now. I had a dream. I also feel like he knows like we're friends. You know, when you get that way about a celebrity and it's like you see his Instagram story and you're like, oh, ha ha ha, funny John. I had a dream recently that this is really derailing, but I had a dream that he and I were in a secret relationship. For lack of a better term, we were having an affair. And my friends and I went to a festival that he was playing at. And I was like, we got it. How are we going to do this? Like, this is gonna be the first time that we're going to like be around my friends. And he was like, no, no, it's cool. We can just pretend like we're friends. And I was like, they're not going to believe that we're just friends. Like, if you're giving me VIP, like, no way. And all my
Not
friends
if I
believed
was
it.
there, I would know immediately.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I woke up that morning and was like, good morning, Matt, and like snuggled up and was like, I love you so much. Anyways, the reason I bring up John Summit is he posted a story the other day. He's in Australia right now, playing some shows and some festivals. And he said, I just want to say, like, my Australian tour has been so amazing. And like, I just have to share my 10 cents on something. Like, there are quite a few American DJs who their canceled the festival because of, he said, quote unquote, personal reasons. And he was like, and I just want to say, like, my opinion on that is that, like, a job is a job. This is exactly what he said. A job is a job, and we have the best job in the world. So suck it the fuck up. And
Mm,
I was like, honestly, like not to be rude, but that's how I feel about yoga teachers. And
fair. Yeah.
like I mean myself included, right? Like I'm not excluding myself from this. There are days where I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do it because a job is a job.
Yeah.
Um, but like I have to quickly, I make sure 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, that I very quickly like nip that in the bud. And I'm like, oh wait, you're annoyed because you don't want to have to go do your job. But like actually, if you don't think about this as having to do your job, you probably actually want to do it.
Mhm.
Um, and then I like pinch myself and I'm like, oh wait, I get to go teach yoga. It could be not so much worse because like it's amazing and it
Yeah.
could be bad.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, yeah, what a good reminder for like anyone that gets to do their passion for work.
Yes.
That like it's fine, like it's normal to get annoyed by it, but just like remind yourself to quickly be like, oh, wait, reality check. I could be, like you said, sitting at a desk from 9 to 5, or he was like working in a construction site. He said that made me laugh because I was like, haha, Matt. And that's Matt's dream and passion.
Well, what's
So
funny is that's
watch what
his
you
passion,
say.
right? So,
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
but that's what's funny is so
Yeah.
if being a yoga teacher, you say like is living your passion, but for some people it's not
Right.
because some people aren't actually that passionate about it and for whatever reasons that maybe felt like they aligned with initially or whatever reasons they started, you can tell the difference between the teachers who are doing it because it's something they're very passionate about, and you can tell the teachers that are doing it for a reason that's not about their passion for it.
Right.
And I think when you experience the way they hold space, it feels very, very, very different. And you can tell. And it's the same as like probably John Summit when he gets on stage or any
Right.
musician when they get on stage and they can create this electric energy because they fucking love
Want to be
every
there.
minute of it. They
Yeah.
want to be there. They're like so happy to be there. And you've gone, and I'm sure you've gone to shows before where you get there and they're just like robots on stage
Yeah.
singing the words and you feel nothing. Even
Yeah.
though you might love the music and you've heard it a million times, you get there and you're just like, this is nothing. And
Hmm.
that is the difference. The people that cancel or whatever, I mean, different like personal reasons,
Right.
illnesses, emergencies, but like there are people who do it because they're passionate about it. And you will feel the very palpable difference between going to their classes or their concerts versus the people that got into it out of a sense of like, I don't know, wanting to be in front of a room or
Right.
wanting to get the attention of a crowd. You know what I mean? Like there are many ways why people choose the things they choose. And you can tell when people have chosen something because they truly love doing it
Hmm.
versus another reason that we will never know.
Yeah, totally. Which I think is actually like we didn't plan this, but a good segue into like what we were talking, like to what we were planning on talking about, which is sharing. Well, how about you explain it, May? It was your idea.
Um, I recently I've seen several like borderline famous and famous yoga teachers, on their personal Instagram pages or social media kind of defending the way they choose to share yoga. And it just kind of struck a chord with me because now that I'm going through the 300 hour and now that we're learning all of these new things and all of these new ways and it's funny because the more information you learn could either make you understand how something is so much more gray, but then sometimes the more information you learn, it can also make you go towards everything's more black and white. So and it doesn't matter, like, I've taken it both ways. There are days where we hear something in the 300 hour and I go to teach the next week and I'm like, "No, this is bad, this is wrong, I can't do it like this." But then I realize, and that's what, like, the more I integrate what we're learning, I recognize that there are many, many, many ways to share yoga. And the way that you should be sharing yoga, and this is something that Jason Crandall just said, the way you should share yoga is the way you want to practice yoga. And that's how you're going to find your passionate energy. That's how you're going to go to the concert and you're going to want to be there because the person on stage is playing the music they love. And
Hmm.
then when you love it, you share it differently. So you can't just see and hear a bunch of things and then decide, oh, well, I'm going to do it that way because that's the way I think is the right way today. it has to be the way you feel connected with, or it's not going to land. And I just think it's really funny that, yoga teachers as a whole, we all feel like maybe we're doing it wrong, or there are like we shouldn't play music, we shouldn't make classes really challenging, we shouldn't make classes too easy. There's so many ways that we can second guess the way we choose to share yoga. And I think that it's just, it's challenging. And I think the more you learn, the more confidence you have in, well, this is the way I like to share it, and this is the way I'm going to share it. And then it's an unapologetic thing where, if you don't enjoy the way I share it, that's totally fine. Like I can take that feedback, but just you might align with another teacher differently. Um,
But at least
so
it'll
I don't
be
know. It
real.
just even the Giovanna Heyman, he does the accessible chair yoga. I don't know if you
Hmm.
follow him, but
Yeah,
he
he's
had a big
cool.
thing lately that was like, I get criticism for the way I share yoga, or it's not accessible enough, or, and so it's just, right? It's just, you can't win. So at some point, you have to just really decide. It's like being a human. You have to be yourself, and who likes it, and who doesn't. And that's just the way it is, because there's always going to be someone somewhere that has a problem with something you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, with something you're saying, the way you look, the way you're sharing your yoga, the way you're performing at concerts, whatever. But like, at some point the noise just has you have to cancel the noise out and do it the way that feels right to you. And
Yeah.
when you're doing it the way that feels right to you, it's going to land on the right people, and that's just all there is to it.
And I think that's a win, right? Like when you're doing what you want to do, what feels
Yes,
authentic to you, what you're passionate about, that's a win. And that is never going to appease every single person because it just isn't.
there's no way it can't.
Yeah. So, but it's like by trying to appease every person, one, you'll fail. Two, like that's where you lose the win. Like you can
You lose
never
the
win
authenticity,
there. Yeah,
because
exactly.
then you're just sharing something for the sake of what you think other people might like, instead
Yeah.
of doing what you feel connected to. And that's where the
Yes.
heart and the soul and the feeling and the energy get lost. And I see, it's just, you can take all of this information, and you can take all of the things you see and learn, and when you practice in other studios, and you can integrate it and let it inspire you in a way that you can make it authentic to you, or you can you can let it change the way you decide to teach. And then you get
I think,
lost.
and I think
You
the
is gone.
only way to know that is through direct experience. Like if you hear something or experience something or learn something and you're like, "Oh, I agree with that," or "I disagree with that," like you don't actually know how it feels until you give it a try, right? So like it's just like buying a shirt online. You can see the shirt online and be like, "That's going to look so cute on me." And then it arrives and you're like, "What the hell is this?" Right? But you wouldn't
Like
have
a
known
potato.
unless it arrived and you could put it on. Yeah.
Right.
So like, like not being afraid to give something a try because that's the only way like that you can figure out what is authentic to you and what doesn't feel authentic to you is by trying and knowing that like this is like so cliche, but the only constant is change, right? And so like the way you teach today is going to be very different than the way you teach next month and extremely different than the way you teach next year. And so having the confidence in yourself to be like, I taught this way before and I teach this way now, and to detach from anybody having an opinion about that, good, positive, negative, or neutral, is
Right.
really where how I think you build confidence and really show up authentically. And that being, I know we talked about authenticity a few episodes ago, but this is from the pivot year a few days ago. I actually read it on Sunday in our class. I thought it was so good because we talked about authenticity. And then we also talked about in a different episode, like the difference between like, if everybody loves you, you're not doing it right. And there's like a fine line between like, well, I'm going to act like an asshole. And that's just me
Right.
being authentic. And it's like, no, you're
Right.
just actually being an asshole. So this, and I've really had to work on that my whole life. I've gotten a lot better. But when I was young, I was like, this is just me. And my mom's like, okay, you have to be considerate though. Like you don't have to be fake, but you can't be an asshole. So, anyways, it says your authenticity is not your stream of consciousness. It is not doing whatever you want, whenever you want, without any regard or consideration for the ripple effect that it might cause or for where it may lead. What you do consistently comes to be a characteristic of you, not what you think, feel, or even fear, but what you choose to do with those feelings and those fears. If you display sincere kindness, even if you feel the hardness of judgment first wash over your awareness, then you will come to be known as kind. If you display resiliency, strength, and courage, even when you're facing the deepest unknowns, resilience will come to be associated with you too. You are in some ways fixed, but in others, adaptable, mendable, and shiftable. You are not the culmination of what you once were. You can defy the past. You can become what you decide to be. And that's like such a, oh God, I love that so much because it's like we're human. So the way that we feel about things and our opinions and our thoughts are normal. And it's not
Mhm.
about changing your feelings or your opinions or your thoughts. It's about recognizing those things happening within you and then allowing them to filter through your heart space so that the way that you share those things is considerate. And
Yeah.
that doesn't also mean like to have, we've got each other and I have, everyone should have their people where you can be like, I don't want this to move through the lens of my heart. Fuck everybody. But like, that's like essentially working through the feelings and opinions and thoughts and emotions that you have. So that way, like, when you show up for the rest of the world, it's authentic in a way that's also considerate, I guess.
I mean, but that's also honesty and authenticity. Like,
Yes.
not everybody gets pissed off. Everybody needs
Yes.
to fucking rant. Everybody has an interaction throughout their day that makes them want to slam on their car horn or scream into a pillow. And that's like the reality of being a human being. So if you're
Hmm.
pretending like you're not that person that ever feels the need to gossip to a friend or gets pissed off about something, like you're lying. You're
Yeah.
fucking lying, and then you're probably gonna snap someday and just, like, I don't know, throw pig's blood on someone at the prom. I can't,
Yeah.
like I can't
Yeah. That.
That's from a movie. I don't know if you're young enough or old enough to even know what that movie is, but I didn't just make that up off the top of my head. I'm not
What
that
movie is
insane.
that?
Carrie, the movie Carrie, it's a
Oh,
horror
that's
movie.
scary. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard about it. I haven't watched
Yeah,
it.
you could watch it someday. But yeah, that's not a May original. I've never thrown pig's blood at anybody. But um that's also the way you hold space, right? Or the way you decide. It's not like your sequences or it's not the way that you piece together beautiful transitions, but also just like allowing your students to come in a shitty fucking mood and not telling them like, okay, everyone, we're gonna be happy now. Everybody
Yeah.
breathe and we're gonna be positive and we're gonna get into a good mood. It's like if you want to be messy, if you want to be shitty, if you want to be a fucking bitch today, then do it. And then, like, if you're letting yourself do that today, most likely it won't carry into tomorrow. But when
Right.
you like suppress that stuff, it goes on days and days and days, and you're outwardly smiling at everybody and giving them whatever they want all the time and making everybody hear the words they want to hear. And then you yourself are fucking dying inside. So
Yeah.
I don't know how I got off on this rant. Maybe because
Well,
it's
because it's
been
honesty.
right. It's honesty. Being authentic isn't just a fucking buzzword that you say. It's something that you do, just like you just said, your actions. It's not like you don't have to freak the fuck out every time you get angry and lash out at people, but you're allowed to express it in some way so it comes out of you and doesn't
Right.
stay stuck and start
Exactly.
to clog up your fucking chakras or whatever. I just
Yeah.
said
Listen to
chakras.
you. Listen to you. Yeah, totally. But I think to tie a bow on this conversation, as we say, uh, yeah, I mean, I don't, I feel like there's also a difference between feeling the need to defend yourself for validation, not saying this is right or wrong, but to like your core people, like your tribe. Like if I'm
Yeah,
like, May, I feel like I need I need to feel, I feel like I need validation. I need to defend that, like why I'm doing this. This is why I do this. Like, oh my God, do that. But also like, I don't know. I'm not saying that it's wrong to do it on social media, but like when I see people defending themselves on social media for doing like what is authentic to them and it's not causing harm to people, like the way they teach yoga, I
right.
just want to be like, dude, do you have people in your corner? Or like, I don't know, like also if you put yourself out there the way that like well-known or famous yoga teachers do, then it's like maybe that is the way that you defend yourself because you're just responding to the people that are telling you,
Mhm.
that what you're doing isn't right or not accessible or blah, 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 blah. So I don't know the right answer here, but I do think that like bottom line, do you. And if you're not causing harm to people, like the
Yeah.
people that are talking shit are just fucking jealous and can't figure
Mhm.
out the way they want to do things. So that instead of figuring it out, they're wasting their time on v- evaluating everyone else around them. Um,
Bingo.
just do
It's not
you.
even always jealousy so much as it's an avoidance tactic. I think that when you are constantly so focused on trying to pick apart the way other people are doing things, then you are very much avoiding the things that you have going on inside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have to be necessarily vindictive or jealousy or anything like that, but if you find yourself actively picking apart other people for no about things that have nothing to do with you, then I think you probably have a little bit of inside work to do, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we all do it and we all and that's the difference, and I'm not saying I don't do it.
Right.
I can
Totally.
be judgmental. And I but in those moments now, the difference between who I am now and 15 years ago is that when I start really judging somebody, I'm like, "Why am I triggered right now? What
Mm-hmm.
about what they're doing is making me so bothered?" And then it most of the time comes back to, "Oh, that's because I used to do that. I was like that so
Yep.
long ago, and I used to be act like that, and I used to say things like that, and it fucking makes me boil because I'm like, I can't believe I ever was
Yeah.
that person. It pisses me off. And
Same.
so
You just hit the nail on the
it's
head.
I'm not like I'm not holier than thou. I've been an asshole. I've been jealous and the thing is now and that's one of the main things I think probably yoga and maturity has done so the difference between how I see things now is like I do actually let it teach me something. I let
Mm-hmm.
it teach me something about myself. Like, why am I so pissed off about this one thing? Oh, probably because this is going on in my life or something going on in my head. So I I like that, I'm at that point where I can see when I'm really upset about something that it comes back to me. I'm not blaming that person. I'm letting it teach me something. And if that
Yeah.
is as far as I get in my journey to enlightenment, like, okay, I'll take it.
Same.
I'm never gonna not, get I'm never gonna be perfect. I don't want to be. That would be really fucking boring.
It would.
But I'm taking tiny steps to being way better than I used to be.
More aware, I think, is all it is.
Yes, it's awareness for sure. Um, and then the last thing that I'll touch on that you mentioned about like being a famous yoga person, I feel like when you decide to put yourself out there, when you end up being someone, that's seen or viewed more than others, you
Mm-hmm.
are automatically signing up for the possibility of receiving a whole lot of more criticism.
You get
I
all
think
of
it
it.
just
Yeah.
like yeah, it comes with the territory. So like I don't know how I would deal with it if I became like a, you know, person that was famous in the yoga world and I was obviously like I know I'd get tons of criticism cuz I say bad words in class and I play loud rock music and I sometimes go too fast and like those are the things that some people really love about my class, and they're the things that some people really don't love about my class,
And
but
sorry, I
I'm just
interrupted you.
no, no, I'm just at to the point now where, like, I feel like when I teach those classes, I those are when I get the people after class, they're like, "That was so good. That felt so good." I'm like, "Yeah, because it felt good for me too. That's the
Mm-hmm.
way it feels good for me." Not always, but sometimes. And then, like, when I get in those moments, I remind myself, like, it's because I'm sharing it in a way that, like, I get excited about. Like, they felt my energy. I was excited. I was, like, passionate. I was feeling it myself, and so they felt it from me.
Yeah. And I
But
think
yeah.
like knowing too, like obviously there's always room for growth. And so um like recognizing like when you receive like who's giving you this feedback, right? Like if it's someone that's reputable that is giving you feedback because they want to support you in your
Right.
growth,
Exactly.
amazing, give it to me. But like if it's just someone that's just yapping, and it's always, honestly, I'll be, or my own experience, it's very clear to me always. When someone's yapping, I'm like, keep on yapping. Um, I sound like the Punxsutawney Phil guy. Keep
Yeah.
on scratching.
Scratching. That's
Um,
Maya's favorite commercial in the world,
so
by the
good.
way.
But then if it's like someone that like not even that I value their opinion, but I know that they're giving it to me out of like compassion because they
Mhm.
want to see me do better
Yeah.
because they see that there's gaps because there's always going to be gaps to fill.
Sure.
Then I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to take this feedback and I'm going to play around with it again, direct experience, see how it feels, see how it lands, and then take it from there. So I think that's like where we can end this is like, if like who, number one, who's giving you this feedback? Who is
Right.
saying the things? And like, do you really give a shit about what that person's saying? And is anyone
Mhm.
else that knows you going to give a shit about what that person's saying? Probably not. And the
Right.
people that give a shit about what that person's saying aren't on your team anyway. So
Yeah.
bye. Felicia. Okay. On that note, I got to go teach. Um,
Bye,
and
Felicia.
we'll see you soon.
Okay. We'll end it on bye, Felicia.
Yeah. And if you guys aren't watching the video, here's my mustache tattoo.
And that's the
Bye.
juice. Okay.
Peace.
Bye.